In this video, we're going to go back and look at Reggie Jackson's terrible, awful, no good, very bad Sunday. I'm going to try not to unnecessarily, hate on Reggie Jackson, but he's been not good in the bubble, both ends of the floor. And this is a game where it was kind of evident here. Zubac sets a nice screen for him. Reggie's going to get a pull-up in the mid-range. It is an open shot. There's a shot he has to hit. He doesn't. It's okay. The process here was fine. Nothing wrong with the process on this one. The Clippers get the offensive rebound and a reset. And I actually do like what Reggie Jackson does here. He's in the corner next to Marcus Morris, and he cuts through along the baseline to clear out the space. And by resetting into the corner, he's actually available for Marcus Morris to hit him, but he doesn't kick it to Landry Shamet, who's even more wide open and should have gotten the ball, and Reggie Jackson misses. Slide out of bounds for the Clippers. One thing Reggie Jackson does really well is get to the rim. He's got a great first step in doing so. And here on the catch, he notices the closeout is bad. And he's going to attack off the dribble, which is great. However, he should pass to Ivica Zubac, who is rolling and has a better shot attempt. And he goes up for this fading left-handed layup that has no chance of going in, and it's a miss. Reggie Jackson going downhill is a good thing, and here he gets a screen from Ivica Zubac, and he heads that way. He notices the drop coverage by Jared Allen, and he goes up with a nice floater attempt that he makes. This is an okay shot. At times there can be misplaced aggression. You have to understand what the defense is doing, and here he actually adequately reads that the defender's trying to overplay the screen, so he cuts and goes right off the dribble, but he attempts this floater, which almost goes in, but it's not a high percentage shot here, and he should get a better one. This is going to be another instance of misplaced aggression by Reggie Jackson. We're going to see Ivica Zubac come up and set a screen, and then he's going to end up re-screening on the other side. And by doing this, he allows Reggie Jackson to get the middle of the floor. However, Reggie Jackson tries to be overly aggressive and attack Jared Allen with this layup attempt, and instead he should have brought the ball back out and reset into block. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, misplaced aggression. Ivica Zubac sets an initial screen here. Reggie Jackson wants to get downhill. Zubac re-screens on the other side, and as Reggie tries to get over it, his defender gets into him, and Reggie has no basis here in terms of getting around him. He then goes up into whatever this shot attempt is, and he might get fouled, but it's not called. Jackson has to do better. It wasn't all bad for Reggie Jackson here. He beats the defender and gets right into the teeth of the defense in the lane, draws defenders, finds Kawhi Leonard open just outside the paint. Leonard gets a solid look, he misses, but Reggie Jackson fights for this ball and ends up getting the offensive rebound. And we are going to see him pass out to Marcus Morris Sr., and it's an open look for Sr., and he knocks it down. And this is something the Clippers have needed. Reggie Jackson did a good job here, but it doesn't sum up his game. I wish Reggie was a little bit more unselfish, and I feel like in the starter role, he tries to be overly aggressive. Here, Zubac sets a screen. Reggie's going to kind of let it play itself out, and when the defender resets, he crosses him back to the left. What Reggie should do here is drive to the draw of the defender, which he does, but he goes up for a layup attempt. What he should have done is wrap it around to Zubac under the rim. This was Reggie Jackson's best offensive possession of the entire game, and I do have to be honest, this was a really good possession. Here, he's matched up with Joe Harris, and you just have to keep your eye on Harris and Jackson. Jackson is going to entry pass the ball into the mid-post to Kawhi Leonard, but when Harris tries to double him, Jackson reads it and flashes to the middle of the floor. This is fantastic awareness by Reggie Jackson. He then clears out to the corner, and he's going to be wide open. Reggie Jackson has to make his spot up, catch and shoot threes, and he does. He's been good there for the Clippers. While the offense wasn't good for Reggie, the defense was even worse, and that's been his biggest problem. Here, he switches, and the Clippers like to switch with their smaller guards. Reggie has to get over the top of the screen, but he does it in an awful way, and as he stumbles, Joe Harris steps into a wide open mid-range jumper and he makes it. Reggie has to stay in this play. This is a tough play to fully fault Reggie Jackson. He's hustling back to stay level with the ball handler and stop a break, but Zubac is already in the paint as LeVert stops to hop into a shot attempt. There's too much space between him and Jackson tries to cover the distance, and he gives a decent contest, if not a good one, but it doesn't matter, and it's knocked down. This was probably Reggie Jackson's worst defensive possession of the game. Keep your eyes locked to the far corner. He's matched up against Garrett Temple, and as the dribble handoff happens, they switch with Joe Harris. Reggie Jackson's now on Joe Harris in the corner, and as the action comes to the middle of the floor, Reggie Jackson gets sucked into helping on the roll man and leaves Joe Harris wide open. As he comes back to help and contest, he jumps and leaves his feet, which you can't do, and he gives Joe Harris way too much room to shoot, and of course, Joe Harris makes it. You always have to be given 100% effort and knowing who's on the floor at all times. Reggie Jackson starts off this play and he's matched up with Joe Harris in the near side corner. You have to follow a great shooter around to deter any shot, and actually Reggie, he gives whatever this arms out thing is, I guess, to help deter anything, and he gets over the top of the screen, and what he has to do is get back in front of the ball handler, and he kind of does with a little bit of help from Terrence Mann at the nail. As the pass goes out, Jackson's job here is to stay with Joe Harris. Instead, he gets caught ball watching and he lunges for this pass, which gets him out of position. And as he tries to close out, he closes out the wrong direction and gives up the drive. Joe Harris weasels his way into the lane and lays it in. One of the reasons Reggie Jackson struggles as a point of attack defender is A, because of his stance, and B, because of his foot placement. Look at this. The way that Reggie Jackson's kind of a little bit straight up and his feet are just in a position that can't stop this drive, he gets beat, he reaches in, and he can't do anything to stop this basket. I'm going to preface this by saying this play is not Reggie Jackson's fault, but he doesn't make it any better. We're going to see where he's located on the floor, and as the tape rolls, Jared Allen is going to roll, and Landry Shamet is supposed to tag the roller here, but he doesn't, and in doing so, the pass is made to Allen, and Reggie Jackson fouls him very softly and allows the basket to be made. You have to foul harder. This was probably Reggie Jackson's best defensive effort of the night, which is kind of funny when you see the quality of look that was given up. Here he's matched up with the ball handler, and he is lower into his stance, his feet are better separated. As the ball handler drives, Reggie Jackson does a good job of staying level with him and driving him towards Ivica Zubac. This deters a layup attempt, and the post-up attempt ends up happening as a result in the mid-post, with Jackson as the defender. As the shot goes up, Jackson doesn't contest this. It's an open look, and the Clippers get lucky. This is particularly frustrating. It's transition defense, and we see Reggie Jackson. He's hustling back. He's doing that right. And he looks like he's squaring up to take a charge. But then he just Olay defenses and jumps. He doesn't deter anything and gives up the layup. Being such a negative as a point of attack defender is a killer for the rest of your defense. Here, as the drive happens, Reggie Jackson is in poor position. No bend, nothing. This allows the ball handler to get into the lane, and in doing so, Landry Shamet has to vacate his responsibilities to help. It's a kick, it's a swing, it's an open three, and it's money. This is the final play, and a very frustrating one. Reggie Jackson is matched up with the ball handler, Karis LeVert, and I have no idea on earth what this little lunge thing is, but he ends up getting screened, and the Clippers switch this action, so it's Reggie Jackson and Tyler Johnson. The screen handoff happens. Reggie Jackson's job is to push the ball handler to Zubac, which he does. Marcus Morris helps on the roll. Jackson has to get out to the corner shooter, but he collides knees with Marcus Morris. Shooter's left wide open. It's made. This was not a good night.